What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. The 2023 college football season is now officially over. It is now time to take a look ahead to the 2024 college football season. And with that being said, we're going to give you my way too early 2024 college football top 25 rankings. As again, it's now time to start the official kind of off-season content videos here on the channel for the 2024 college football season. So like I said, we're just, straight away after that national championship game from last night. And congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines. Obviously, they won the national title game from last night. I will give you my thoughts once we get into those Washington and Michigan, teams and everything, because they are in this top 25. But this is a way too early top 25, and, based off of where these teams were from last year, this top 25 is going to be based off of that, and also it's going to be based off of what we've seen so far, looking ahead to 2024. And like I said, we don't really know what the rosters are going to look like. This is why it's called a way too early top 25. So let's get right into it here. I'm going to start with the bottom teams and then work my way up to the top teams. So we'll start from 21 through 25. So at the bottom, from 21 through 25, I got Kentucky at number 25. I know a lot of people probably won't agree with this, pick and everything, but Kentucky is at the bottom. It's not like they're, picked to be like a top 20 team or anything like that. Kentucky's coming off a pretty average season in 2023. Not really the best season. It was kind of like a step back year for Kentucky, but, they're going to lose Devin Leary and, of course, Ray Davis in the backfield, so they're going to have to really kind of replace him at running back. But, quarterback-wise, I think they'll be pretty much just fine there on the quarterback position. They added a couple transfers in the transfer portal at quarterback. You got Brock Vandergriff coming in. I think that's the reason why Kentucky deserves a top 25 spot. And also they got Bo Allen coming back to the school as well. So Kentucky might have a chance to be a pretty decent team next year. Not saying they're going to be like an SEC contender or anything like that. They could be a dark horse contender. I don't really see them winning like 10 games though next season, but again, it's way too early to tell. But based off of what Kentucky has done so far in the transfer portal, this team, in my opinion, is definitely a top 25 team as of right now, but things could change here once we get into the spring as well. SMU here at number 24. We can't really call SMU a group of 5 team anymore because they're playing for the ACC next year. Based off of where this team was, of course, last year, won the American Championship. SMU definitely deserves to be a top 25 team. I think they'll even be a preseason top 25 team maybe for next year. Based off, though, where they were from last year, I think this team is definitely deserving of being in the way too early top 25. And again, they'll be playing for the ACC next year. NC State at number 23. This team, I think, has a chance to be a pretty decent team as well in 2024. I think as of right now, you can even call them like a dark horse contender in the ACC. Maybe even like a dark horse contender for a playoff spot, because we do got that 12-team playoff coming in 2024. So NC State here at number 23. I think this team will be pretty decent. I don't think they're really talented, maybe not on the level of like Clemson or maybe Florida State, but this team has a pretty good chance to, surprise a lot of people in 2024. Based off of what they've done last year, they won, of course, 9 games. Based off of what they did last year, they definitely deserve to be ranked, in my opinion, this too early top 25. Kansas State at number 22. They're obviously going to lose Will Howard at quarterback due to the transfer portal and everything, but they got a guy to replace him. We saw the backup quarterback. I can't really remember his name. We saw him in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against NC State. Looked really good. He looked pretty decent as a quarterback, so I think the future is looking pretty bright for Kansas State at quarterback. So Kansas State here at number 22. I think this team has a chance to be pretty good next season. And then Kansas here at number 21. This team obviously winning 9 games last year. I do kind of expect Kansas to be right up there with the top contenders list for the Big 12 next season. This Kansas team is coming off a 9-win season. You kind of expect to continue that momentum going into 2024. Obviously, the Big 12 is going to be a lot different this year with all the newcomers coming in from the Pac-12. But Kansas has a chance to be pretty good next season. I think they're going to lose Jalen Daniels. I haven't really heard anything. Like I said, I don't really know what the rosters look like. I do know some players are leaving, of course, from the the transfer portal, but I haven't really seen the full rosters and also the full, production list of all the players that are going to be gone for some of these teams. So Kansas here at number 21. These are my rankings here from 21 through 25. Let's now go from 16 through 20. I got Oklahoma State here at number 20. This is a team that has good momentum going into 2024. They're coming off a 10-win season in 2023, made it to the Big 12 championship, of course. I think Oklahoma State has a chance to be a pretty good top contender next year for the playoff spot. You return your top running back from last year, of course, in Ollie Gordon, who led the country in rushing last year and also led the Big 12 in rushing last year. I think Ollie Gordon has a chance to be a pretty solid Heisman candidate. I think it's really too early to kind of say that for right now, but Oklahoma State, based off of where they were last year, this team has a chance to be pretty good. I think they have really good talent on both sides of the football to do that. So Oklahoma State here at number 20. Louisville at number 19. Future's looking pretty bright for the Cardinals. Obviously they got a transfer quarterback from Texas Tech coming over. I think I couldn't really remember his name and everything, but Louisville obviously has some transfers coming in. Jeff Brom I think did a really good job in his first year. They finished 10-4. Did not finish the season where they wanted to, but the future is definitely looking bright for this Louisville team. That's the reason why they're here on this way too early top 25 poll and everything. Clemson at number 18. Cade Klubnik, of course, will be back. I haven't really heard anything from Will Shipley. I haven't really looked at the full, teams that are losing their players, from 2023. And again, decisions are still to be made for all these players because, we don't really know what the rosters look like. The transfer portal is still going on. And also, the NFL draft decisions have not been made yet either. So Clemson here at number 18. I think they have a chance to be pretty solid next year. Disappointing season last year in 2023, but like I said, Cade Klubnik will be back. But one thing I am concerned about for Clemson definitely is just the offense, because the offense again has to get things going. It just hasn't been really good in the last few years ever since Clemson last made the playoff. Ever since Trevor Lawrence has left, Clemson just hasn't had that great quarterback play either. I think Clemson, though, is going to be a pretty decent team. And, as of right now, they're kind of sitting there in the middle of the pack at number 18 for me on this top 25. So Clemson here at number 18. Washington at number 17. Michael Penix will obviously be gone to the NFL draft and everything. That will definitely be a huge loss for this Washington team because they're definitely going to the Big Ten next year. We have to call this team now a Big Ten football team instead of a Pac-12 since there's no more Pac-12 conference. But Washington, I don't really expect them to take a big step back. I do expect this team to still probably win like 7 or 8 or 9 games probably in 2024, but we'll see what it looks like at quarterback for this Washington team as well. And again, Michael Penix played last night in the national championship. I don't think he was pretty accurate, but, he was a really tough quarterback, really finished the game strong. And, again, Washington comes up just short. They had a really good season in 2023. I don't really, like I said, expect a really big step back for this team. But Washington here at number 17 on my top 25 countdown. Florida State at number 16. This is another team that I don't really expect to take a big step back, but they are at least in the top 25 for me. Florida State, I do expect them to probably still continue their momentum with Mike Norvell as the head coach. They got DJ Uiagalelei, the transfer coming over from Oregon State. He does have experience at Clemson in the ACC. He also has got a little bit of experience at Oregon State. And he's been at the college level for a very long time. So maybe that's the good news going into next season for this Florida State team. They do have a transfer quarterback coming in. So Florida State, again, they were going to lose a lot of talent, though. They're going to lose some talent at running back. They're also going to lose some talent at wide receiver. So Florida State here, I still think this could be like one of the favorites to win the ACC next year. But as of right now, Florida State is at number 16 here in my top 25. So these are my rankings here from 16 through 20. All right, 11 through 15, I got Notre Dame at number 15. They got their, offensive coordinator. They got a new offensive coordinator this year. They got the former LSU offensive coordinator coming over to, coordinate the Notre Dame offense. Riley Leonard comes in from Duke. Obviously how will he do at Notre Dame? Will he develop right away for this system for Notre Dame, or will it kind of be like an up and down? It's kind of early to say that for right now, but that's all what Notre Dame has added so far in the transfer portal. Of course, Riley Leonard is a huge pickup for this team. The transfer from Duke, so he battled with injuries last year, at Duke and everything, but coming into 2024, he has a chance to probably be one of a really solid quarterbacks quarterback for this Notre Dame team. So Notre Dame here, the reason why Riley Leonard is coming in, that's the reason why they're ranked here in the top 15 for me. Tennessee at number 14, the future is still looking pretty bright for Tennessee. Tennessee coming off a 9-win season last year, kind of a bit of a step back, but I think this Tennessee team is going to be really good this year. As of right now, the future is looking pretty bright at quarterback for Nico. I can't really pronounce his last name, but, Nico played pretty well in that Citrus Bowl against Iowa and everything. And, we just saw what the future is going to kind of look like for Tennessee. So Tennessee at number 14, I think this team has a really good chance to be pretty good, especially on offense. They're going to be really explosive on that side of the football. Watch out for the Tennessee Volunteers to be a playoff contender as well next season. And then Oklahoma here at number 13. I know Oklahoma is going to lose Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. They're going to lose some other talented players, but in my opinion, this is still a top 15 type team. I think Oklahoma is going to be a really competitive team as well in their first year in the SEC. Yes, Oklahoma is heading to the SEC, of course, in 2024, so we'll see how they develop in the SEC conference next season. Arizona at number 12. They're heading to the Big 12, of course, next season. In my opinion, I think Arizona is probably the favorite by a lot of people to win the Big 12 next season and possibly go to that new 12-team playoff. I mean, it's not really going to be a surprise if Arizona does that. Arizona does have a talented team. They're going to lose some talent on both sides of the football, but I think Arizona, from where they were from last year, a 10-win season, they have definitely good momentum going into 2024. So Arizona here at number 12. Possibly could be the favorites in, to win the Big 12 next season. Of course, the Big 12 is going to be a lot different next year. And then Penn State here at number 11. Penn State will have Drew Aller back at quarterback. I think they also returned their top running backs, of course, from last year. They could be like one of the best running back duos in the country. So Penn State here, I think they'll have a chance to probably make the college football playoff as well next season. But they're just outside the top 10 for me, just based off of where they were from last year. So these are my rankings here from 11 through 15. All right, let's go to the top 10 now. So at number 10, I have Utah. So a lot of people are going to probably say, why is Utah really high on this list? Well, because Utah does return Cam Rising at quarterback. That's the reason why Utah is so high on this list. And in my opinion, I think Utah might be the favorite next year in the Big 12 because of that return of Cam Rising. He does have experience. He did not play a single game last year because he wasn't 100% healthy. This year, he might be 100% healthy. We don't really know just yet, but Utah has a lot of good momentum going into next season with the return of Cam Rising at quarterback. LSU at number 9 will obviously lose Jaden Daniels at quarterback. He is now gone, so we're going to see what the future looks like at quarterback. But in my opinion, LSU is still definitely a top 10 team, top 15 type team as well. I think Brian Kelly will have this team ready to go, and I think LSU will definitely be like a really good team next season. I still think they can be very competitive against Alabama and, some of the other teams in the SEC as well. Missouri at number 8. This was a very big surprise team last year in 2023, coming off that 11-win season. Missouri has a chance to be pretty good next season. They could even make the college football playoff as well. You got Brady Cook coming back, next year for this Missouri team. You also got your top returning receiver coming back as well. They are going to lose their running back, who led the SEC in rushing yards last season, but that's not really going to be a huge deal, I think, for Missouri. They do lose some key players on the defensive side of the football, but I think this Missouri team is heading in the right direction. Eli Drinkwitz has got this program back to where it needs to be as well. So Missouri here at number 8, and then Ole Miss here at number 7. Jackson Dart, of course, coming back for this Ole Miss team. They're going to lose Judkins, the running back, their top running back in the last 2 years. He's now officially gone, entering the transfer portal. And that really surprised me, that Ole Miss did lose their top running back. I still think Ole Miss is going to be very explosive on the offensive side of football. And I also think they're going to add some transfers to help them out as well, because Lane Kiffin is really the master at doing that. And because of Ole Miss here being at number 7 is just because the reason why they're here at number 7 is just because of Jackson Dart returning at quarterback. So Ole Miss has a pretty good chance to be pretty solid next year. They're here at number 7 for me. And then Ohio State here at number 6. I got them just outside the top 5. I know Ohio State definitely deserves to be a top 5 team, but based off of where they were from last season. It just wasn't really their best season, to be honest. But Ohio State should be really talented. I think both sides of the football. Marvin Harrison is now gone and entered the NFL draft and everything, but I don't think that's going to be a huge loss for them. They got Will Howard, the transfer from Kansas State, coming over. Like I mentioned with Kansas State earlier, they're going to lose Will Howard. Of course, Will Howard's going to come here to Ohio State. He does have experience at the quarterback position. He led Kansas State to a Big 12 championship. Can Ohio State finally get over the hump in 2024? Obviously they lost to Michigan in the last 3 years. This has just not been the same Ohio State team in the last 3 years as well. So we'll see what happens, but these are my rankings here from 6 through 10. Let's now get to the top 5 here, the most important teams here. So in the top 5, I got Oregon at number 5. Dan Lanning, I think, has done a really nice job for this Oregon football program. You look at the recruiting class they have coming in, they're obviously going to be loaded with really good, talented players. And also, you look at the offensive side of football, they're going to lose Bo Nix and Bucky Irving at the quarterback and running back position, but they got some pieces to fill in there for the running back position. And obviously, the big one is Dylan Gabriel coming over from, Oklahoma. He does have a lot of experience at the quarterback position, and I think Oregon might have a chance to make the 12-team playoff next year. I don't think they're the favorites to win the Big Ten next season, but they're really close to that. And like I said, Dan Lanning has really put together a really talented recruiting class, and he also has really good players coming back for next season as well. They'll lose some key pieces on the defensive side of the football, but I think, Oregon should be overall pretty explosive on the offensive side of the football. So Oregon here at number 5 is the reason why they're here in the top 5. And then Michigan here at number 4. I don't really expect Michigan to take a big step back, after winning the national championship game last night. They're obviously going to lose Blake Corum at running back. We don't really know the decisions yet for J.J. McCarthy. And, of course, Donovan Edwards at running back as well. We'll see if those two guys can come back for Michigan, and maybe I can rank them a little bit higher on this top 5. But as of right now, I'm going to drop them here to number 4. Like I said, with the loss of Blake Corum, that's definitely going to hurt them at the running back position. But like I said, we don't know what the decisions are yet for Donovan Edwards and J.J. McCarthy. Texas at number 3, kind of the same thing here. Like Michigan, Quinn Ewers hasn't made a decision yet for Texas if he's going to return or not. But if he does return, Texas could be a very dangerous team next year, and especially on the offensive side of the football. Now, they're going to lose some talent at running back. They're also going to lose some players on the defensive side of the football. But Texas going into their first year in the SEC should be really talented enough against the SEC teams. We saw that last year when they took on Alabama in the regular season. So Texas here at number 3. And then Georgia here at number 2. They signed the number 1 ranked recruiting class. Carson Beck should be back for this team next season. He was a really talented quarterback last year, of course, in 2023 as his first full-time year as a starter. And, Georgia has a good recruiting class coming in. Of course, the number 1 ranked recruiting class coming into next year. So I think Georgia is going to really develop next season as a program and also as a team as well. This team obviously is going to have talent. That's the reason why they're still in the top 5, in my opinion. So Georgia here at number 2. And then Alabama here at number 1. So Alabama is, of course, my number 1 team here in my way too early top 25 poll for 2024. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but I think when I look at this talent of this Alabama team, they were very young last year in 2023. They still went to the college football playoff, though. And also Jalen Milroe, of course, will be back at quarterback for this Alabama team. And I think he has a chance to probably be the favorite right now as a Heisman candidate. And also he's kind of my pick to win the Heisman Trophy already in 2024. Like I said, it's way too early to, kind of talk about that. But Alabama, in my opinion, based off, winning the SEC championship last year and based off of how Jalen Milroe developed as a quarterback, I think Alabama definitely deserves to be here at number 1. I don't feel very confident with these top 5 teams, but that's how it's going to be coming out to play here in this one. So these are my top 5 teams. These are my rankings here from 1 through 5. And that is officially my 2024 way too early top 25 rankings for the 2024 college football season. And like I said, it's way too early to be doing this, but we're going to do it anyway. So this is my way too early top 25. Give me your thoughts down in the comments below on this way too early top 25 for the 2024 season. And also give me your way too early top 25 teams down in the comments below as well. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports channel.